everybody, Yankee here. Shotguns for home defense. That's a subject we talk about all the time. People are always saying, oh, shotgun is the best overall gun for everything, including home defense. Even Uncle Joe agrees. But, I usually disagree. And today I want to take some time to address an email I got from a viewer who called me a hypocrite for saying that, for saying shotguns are not the best for home defense, because he said, hey, you tell us you've got shotguns throughout the house. And that's true. I do have shotguns throughout my house. But today I want to go over my own home defense plan and explain to people why I'm not saying don't have shotguns. I'm just saying they're not the best gun for home defense. One of the main reasons I say that is I make a distinction between home defense and homestead defense or property defense. And the difference is if you live in an apartment, or if you live in a condo or a townhouse or even one of those tract houses, that are 3 feet from your neighbor, a shotgun is probably a little bit of overkill. You're mainly going to be dealing with threats that enter your home. And a shotgun in that case is kind of like swatting flies with a hammer. It's a little much for the job. And it's difficult to maneuver because it is longer. It's a long gun. It's a rifle length gun. So it's harder to maneuver. It's harder to bring to bear, to use properly. So in tight spaces where you might be going around corners and dealing with people up close, probably not the best gun. And I stick to that. And in fact, shotguns are not my primary defense in my home. It's my carry gun is my primary defense in my home. And I always tell most people that when they say, what's the best gun I should get for home defense? Well, considering that the gun you chose to carry is the gun you thought would be the best gun for you to use if another person attacks you, well, then that doesn't change just because you're indoors. So your carry gun is probably your best option for home defense. In my house, that's what is my first option for home defense, my carry gun. Now, some people think that might sound funny because if you know me, you know I don't wear pants all the time. In fact, most of the time I'm not wearing pants, and I'm not Porky Pigging it. I got on gym shorts, but I'm not wearing a holster and a belt because of that, so I can't carry my gun around. But if I'm in my house, I'm generally in one of two places. One of three if you count the bathroom, or the library as I like to call it. But generally, I'm either sitting in the living room watching TV, and in that case, I'm in bed. And if I'm in the living room watching TV, I'm sitting in a spot that I usually sit in, and it's right in front of the TV. And there is a rifle on the wall over the TV, but it's not loaded because 3240 ammo is expensive. So I've never even bothered to buy ammo for this rifle. But if I'm sitting in front of the TV, if you pan down and see, you'll see my carry gun is sitting on the coffee table right in front of me. That's my first line of defense, always. And some people will be like, oh, that's irresponsible. You can't leave guns sitting out on tables. Well, that's true if you've got young people in your house or strangers in your house, etc. All of my little monkeys have grown into full-size apes now, and they don't bother my firearms. In fact, they have access to their own firearms. So leaving a gun on the table is not dangerous because there's no little hands or undeveloped brains that are going to get a hold of it. So that's perfectly safe. Now, behind that area where I'm sitting, there is a shotgun on the wall. I have it on one of those little hooks things that I got off of Amazon that I'm not sure this is how you're supposed to use them, but this is how I use them. I just hang them there because I don't like them just leaning up in the corner. So I have a shotgun back there, and that shotgun is loaded up with buckshot, and it's got slugs in the carrier in case I need something more serious. But that's not there as my primary home defense. That's there as my homestead defense because, like I said, I don't live in an apartment or anything like that. I have acreage, and I have bears, and we have elk and everything else up here. And we're out in the middle of nowhere where if someone did want to come out and attack us, we would be more susceptible to that. There's not a lot of people around. So I have that as a backup plan for if things get really hairy. But it's not my primary mode or method of defense. It's there as a backup. That doesn't invalidate what I said, that it's not best for home defense. If I grab that, I'm going outside. Because there's a big threat outside I need to deal with. There's either, something going on that's extraordinarily dangerous, or, there's a bear attacking my dog or something. So that's what that's there for. It's there for that. Even if I was going to go outside because someone pulled in my driveway and it was suspicious, I wouldn't take a shotgun because I wouldn't want them to see that I had a shotgun. Because if they were there to hurt me, unless I walk out shooting, which is going to probably send me to jail, they're going to have the advantage of saying, oops, he's come out with a shotgun, let's shoot him. So not going to do that anyway. It's too visible. Also, same thing when I'm in bed. If I'm in bed, my carry gun is right there on my nightstand. And that is my primary defense. That's what I'm going to grab if there's a problem. I've even grabbed it and gone outside before. Unless it's a really big problem, I'm probably still going to just use this. I remember I had to scare off a bear with my handgun one time. I have a video on YouTube of it. Not of me actually doing it, but talking about it. I'll put a link in the upper corner to that if you want to see it. But it worked well for that. And that's what I usually go to, is that. Now, do I have other options in the bedroom? Of course. Above the bed, I've got an American flag box, and you open it up, I've got a little shorty shotgun in there, a handgun in there with a light on it, flashlight, etc. But it's not my primary defense. In fact, light, though, is part of my primary defense, because you should never let your property be dark. Even my outside is lit up like daytime at night, because that's one thing bad guys hate more than anything is light. So make sure you have lights on. Even in my house, if someone was to cut the power, I have these little plug-in motion sensor flashlights that you can pick up that come on and light the place up. Because they come on if there's motion or if the power is cut. So that's one of the best things you can do, not let your house go dark as far as home defense is concerned. And like I said, my primary firearm would still be my handgun, easy to maneuver, easy to use, etc. And I also have another shotgun at the end of the bed. It's hanging on the wall like the one in the living room. And if things got really hairy, it's there. And not only could I grab it, but I could also tell somebody else, hey, I'm going out with my handgun. You grab the shotgun and be ready. And I also have other backup in the house. If you go down the hall to the other end of the house where my son's bedroom is, in his disgusting, nasty room, there's a shotgun on his wall ready to go in case there's ever really big problems. But we have other options first. Shotguns are not my first line defense. They're not my home defense firearm. They're for when things get really hairy and I'm probably going to be outside with it, not inside. I don't want to fire a shotgun in my house. I don't want to have to fix the drywall. So probably not, or the plumbing if you hit the wrong spot, or electrical. So probably not going to use it inside the house. It's for outside. For when I'm inside, it's usually my carry gun. Like I said, your carry gun is the gun you chose to defend yourself when you're around people. And if you find yourself around people you don't want to be around in your house late at night, that's probably going to be the best gun for your defense. Simply for the same reasons you chose it as your carry gun. Now, all of this is secondary. Even my handgun is not my primary home defense. My primary home defense is, like I said, light, keeping it very well lit outside. I have motion lights everywhere. I also have cameras everywhere and motion sensors everywhere. I got lights over every window. If your window isn't lit by landscaping light, I have a little motion light over it. Because I want people to know, hey, if I come up to the window or up to the property, I'm well lit. People can see me. And a lot of my cameras are in places where you can see them because I want them to know they're on film. In fact, I have signs up saying, smile, you're on camera. And there are cameras in places where you wouldn't expect either, because since they are solar now, and those work very well, and my Wi-Fi extends to most of my property, I've got ones in places you'd never expect. So I've got cameras, lights, and it's not just cameras, because unless you're looking at a camera, it doesn't do you any good. I've got them set up to a system that it alerts me if there's movement. It actually tells me through my Alexa.
Motion detected in the south yard.
So that's the main part of my home defense, is making it to where I don't ever have to defend my home. Making my home an unfavorable target for bad guys. It's well lit. There's cameras. They know there's cameras. There's cameras they see, cameras they don't see. There's motion sensors. I have an alert system to let me know. And to top it all off, there's over 200 pounds of vicious killing machine roaming the property at any time. Although they're not vicious at all, but they are very good at letting me know if anyone or anything comes in the yard. The only thing we have to work on is the level of threat, because they don't seem to distinguish between, bear, armed person, or bunny rabbit. They all consider it the same amount of threat and they freak out. But they let us know if there's anyone anywhere near the house. In fact, they let us know when our kids are coming home when they're still a half mile down the hill, because they can hear their car and they recognize it. So they're pretty alert. So they're a big part of my system right there. Light, dogs, cameras, alarms, all of that is very important. And that's the stuff that people have to get through before they get to me and my handgun. And then if they're more than I can handle with my handgun, that's when I ask for backup with the shotgun or get the shotgun myself. But it is not my primary home defense. It is there for things when things go really bad. So when I tell you that shotguns are not best for home defense, I mean it. I think there's better choices. Like I've said before, it's like using a hammer to swat flies when you're using a shotgun indoors. It's really not necessary. Use that gun you chose to deal with bad people, even when you're inside, because it's just as good inside as it is outside when you're living your daily life.